Strike and a spare for Holman.
Chris, a low profile a la Joe Willman in the 1940s, but has a lot more power than many players can believe. A nice open swing down low. Now watch this wrist and finger action. You can't even see it. It's a blur. But notice how his arm stays right underneath the shot, the long full follow through, and within a 16th of an inch of a foul line.
Not quite, leaving the 2-5 on that left lane, Marshall Holman.
Chris, as Marshall took the lead in this tournament, especially in the last 16 games yesterday, the back ends, the back portion of the lane themselves were hooking much more than they are today, and Marshall was getting a shot back like that, snapping it back for strikes. Today, he cannot get it back. So what he has to do is move a little further right and keep the speed on the ball to make it hold pocket.
Spare for Holman in the third. Now Anthony with a strike up.
Earl Anthony, high average man for 3 straight years, was dethroned this year, the 1976 year, by Mark Roth by just a few hundredths of a pin.
And so that double puts Earl Anthony into a 12-10 lead.
Chris, Earl Anthony likes the state of California. In the last 14 tournaments we've had in this state, Earl has won 7 of those tournaments. 50% record is unbelievable. He can increase his lead to 22 pins, and I think he'll need them all if he's going to beat Marshall Holman. Looking down at the approach like he's stuck a little bit, but I don't think Earl put the maximum effort on that. This nice loose form of his sometimes can get too loose and the ball will wander high. He has 11-pin lead.
How can you avoid sticking, Nelson?
Well, you really can't, Chris. If you know you're going to stick, you can compensate for it.
Going for the 6th pin and making it. Earl Anthony leading here in our final match worth $10,000 to the winner. We'll return to Torrance after this. Strike in the 4th frame. Now you're in the 5th frame. He's going to try and cover a 4-pin going against Earl Anthony for the $10,000 first prize. Nearly stepped over the foul line.
Chris, for some reason, they're both sticking on the left-hand lane, but they should be able to compensate for it. It's not a major stick. You can compensate for sticking if you're sticking just a little bit, but if you're sticking a lot, you have to change your shoes or something. Earl Anthony leading by 11.
Has a spare up shooting in the 5th frame, final game. Leaving the 7.
The tone of this match hasn't really picked up yet, Chris. The machine himself. Now watch how solid everything is. Watch his hand position. Never move. He sets it right here at the top of the swing. Never move. All the way to the release point. Just smooth and easy. See how that elbow stayed under his hand, Chris? That's the important thing. Close to his body, under his hand.
Spare for Earl Anthony in the 5th frame. Week from today, Alameda, California, for the $75,000 Ford Open. That is January 15th. We'll be on the air 3:30 Eastern Time, so remember to join us. Today we zipped in at 2:30 Eastern, Nelson.
Got to get that football in there.
The Hula Bowl to follow, except on the stations on the West Coast. Sixth frame strike.
Exact same frame that Earl started to pick up the pace last game, Chris. It looks like he kind of lollygagged through the first 5 frames and picked up the tempo. The methodical footwork of Earl Anthony just does it all right, Chris. You can just sit and watch it. Straight ahead. Look at that good knee bend, though.
So the youngest player ever to win the Firestone Tournament of Champions with a strike in the 6th frame, which he wanted.
Chris, 10 pins difference. I would say that Holman has to strike almost in this ball. Okay, now watch the power in this man's swing, and watch the turn at the bottom of the swing. Complete hand rotation around the ball. Now watch that ball slide down the lane and then snap. You can see it just change direction so quickly. Needs this one to even the match.
Crossing over and getting the double.
Marshall looked to the left. Earl Anthony looked to the right. There's nothing that can be more deteriorating to a person that your opponent is to get a real lucky one. Look at Marshall. He knows it was lucky. It's an even match. The luck is going Holman's way.
So now Anthony with a strike up shooting in the 7th frame, final game.
Earl just comes to life in the 6th frame. He just bowled fair the first 5 frames the first match, and then he came to life in the 6th. Again, this game, he evens it, gets 10 pins ahead, but the quality of ball he's throwing in the 6th and 7th frame have picked up the pace. That last ball he threw had a little extra on it, a little more off, and a little more drive.
By 20 pins here in the final game. Marshall Holman has a double up. He'll be shooting in the 8th frame.
20-pin deficit, not much to this man. Has a double up. He's on the right-hand lane. Has hit it well every time.
Feet hanging off the approach, and now the delivery.
Chris, he thought that was a good shot. There's a little extra oil on the lanes, like I said. His ball is not finishing. Notice all the distance he uses on the approach. Marshall weighs about 130 pounds, and he feels he needs all that distance to build the momentum to throw the ball.
5'9" bowler moving to the line. Now, marking with a spare in the 8th frame, covering that 4-pin here in the final match.
He said he's going to win, Chris. He must get striking. Right now, he's 20 pins down to Earl Anthony. 9th frame, key frame.
All this in the Lite Classic.
227.
Now I see why you keep that checkbook so well balanced.
Holman taking a little extra time. 21 pins. He can pick it up in the 9th and 10th, but he must get striking. Very important shot. Cut it loose.
No. 2-4-5.
Chris, the lanes are just tighter. I hate to be making excuses for him, but the guy is bowling a good game. His ball will just not finish. During the week, the ball was snapping back. Bowling those pins out today is sliding by the head pin. That is the condition of the lane. You cannot fight what's out there on the lane.
Spare in the 9th for Holman. Back up, Earl Anthony. 3 in a row, shooting in the 9th. Marshall Holman, who zips the ball down the lane, doesn't waste any time.
He uses that speed to hold it on line, Chris, as much turn as he gets. Earl Anthony in the 9th knows a strike here can shut him out.
Four-bagger for Earl Anthony, who had 6 titles last year.
A little shorter approach, a little less power, but he's getting the job done, Chris. He's 2 feet closer to the foul line than Marshall Holman and much less speed. Earl standing about 15 feet from the foul line. Marshall Holman with his feet hanging over about 17 feet back. And it looks like Earl's day today.
The champion.
Victory number 27 for Earl Anthony in the Lite Classic.
Former baseball player, great bowler. See him after this.
You're about to see something that's really tough. It's a Skiing, as we keep you up to breast what's going on around the world of sports, Olympic gold medalist Franz Klammer has done it again. He's led Austria to a sweep of the Men's World Cup downhill being held in West Germany. And by winning the...
Naturally, Frank, you would like the West because you were born in Bakersfield, California. Here from Medford, Oregon, Marshall Holman. Well, a 202, that 258 was just too much, right?
Yeah, Chris, you know, Earl bowled a great game. He deserved to win the tournament. I had a couple of bad shots and really couldn't get lined up, but I really firmly believed that I was going to win the game before I started. I was practicing on lane 19, and I threw nothing but strikes and felt very good about my game, my release. But second place...
See you later.
Okay.
Our time's running out, Marshall. Love to talk to you. But today it's the winner. Come here, Earl. Come here. Happy New Year. 27. Isn't that great? Now let's bring in John Murphy, the president of the Miller Brewing Company. He's moved his company into number 3 in the nation. John, congratulations. I know you have a spoils of victory for this man.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Yes, we do. We got a couple of things here to present him today. First, the $10,000 check as first prize in the $80,000 Lite Classic. And second, we have a small memento here, a small trophy for you. Hope you can carry it out. Earl?
Thank you very much, John.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Again, thank you, John, and your fearsome threesome behind you here. Tom Shropshire, Larry Williams, and Bill Howell. And again, congratulations.
Thanks you, Chris, and thanks, Light, for being such a wonderful sponsor.
Okay, once again...